All right, we call the Public Safety Committee to order. First thing on the agenda is privilege of the committee chair. Committee members, anyone have anything?
No.
Not. We'll move on to the second thing on the agenda. Sheriff has a couple of items he'd like to talk about. Go ahead.
Well, I got one. The first is concerning the part-time correction officers and the part-time deputies. I'd like to seek an increase in their salary, the part-time wage, and explain a little bit more. I'd like to see it take effect in the middle of the year, like 1st of July. And the way I would try to take care of it this year would be to cut back the hours, to be able to fund the, you only gave me a pot of money to spend, and that's where I have to stay. So that's what I would figure out the hours that I can afford. And if you got the paperwork, you'll see that the deputies and the correction officers haven't gotten a raise in many years. And we have senior account clerks making more money than them. It's not fair. So, if you have any questions, we've lost around 5 or 6 people in the last couple of years. So, it's getting tougher to replace people and to get people to work for us. That work for us already because they can go someplace else and get more money for part-time.
Anyone there?
I've got a question for
Sure.
what salaries the part-time deputies get?
Well, I guess it's a sliding scale.
Is that an hourly scale?
Is it hourly? Yes, paid by the hour. You want to know what it is?
Yeah.
Currently, a trained deputy is making $15.50 an hour. And trained correctional officer is making $15.
Thank you.
You want to know what the...
Oh.
You notice the top there, the account clerk, how much you make? You make $17.51 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, something against the person doing that job, but
Number 5.
Thank you.
and any future costs, that's going to be borne upon the legislators if they, I bring a figure to you saying this is how much money I want, and the legislators say, well, we don't want to fund you that much, we're going to fund you this much. I have to work within those means.
Anyone else from the committee? Anyone else from the board? It's a recommendation.
Move it.
You move this to finance?
Want to do that?
I don't know, I'm not on your committee, but do you think that finance would want to weigh in on it a little bit?
Okay.
Okay.
Want to put a resolution together for the finance committee?
Ms. Dominic,
Dominic, you
will
want to
you
move?
entertain an add-on to finance?
Sure.
Everything we just discussed.
Ask
we're
him,
gonna-
he's the boss.
It's
He
this
do whatever
one.
he says.
Yeah.
Write a check for the deputies?
Okay.
Yeah.
How much?
Finance.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Why, what happened? I can ask.
Where are you looking at?
Yeah?
Too late.
Susie
You
Lewis.
just said the supervisor from the town of St. Johnsville is going to pay for the shortfall in the jail this year.
Yeah, out of our court budget.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I did have the resolution.
But other than that, nothing?
Well, the other thing I was gonna ask Doug, I didn't get a chance to ask him on one before, maybe pass the resolution. We had an issue a while back where we had an inmate that asked for extra legal assistance. We have a law library we have to keep for the state. And we had some problems getting the extra information that inmate wanted. And it caused a lot of problems. And so we changed the way we do our system now. We went to computer for our legal library, which has helped us a lot. But we also need somebody to fall back on. In most counties, they use their public defender. So if I need legal research done for an inmate, I can try our system first, the computer system. If that doesn't work, then I would go to the public defender, county public defender, and say, here, you know, I need this information for this inmate. And I was gonna ask the board if it'd be possible to pass a resolution to make that the way we do things. So I have something to show the Commissioner of Corrections to say, I got the board to give me, you know, approval to do this. You know, so I can present it to the commission and say this is the way we do it. Their approval.
That's a good policy move.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he just got a grant, didn't he, for a fourth guy, or? Huh? Didn't we just give him a grant for a fourth guy, or
Okay.
girl? Guy?
Well, that's exactly what I was gonna bring up. was-
Could be here looking for extra help.
Exactly,
Budget time.
I don't know what his workload is at the moment. It seems like every time I talk to him, that everybody's flat out right up against the wall. You know, but everybody's always flat out against the wall, no matter who you talk to. But how much of an incident do you think this would be per year?
Not that one.
1 or 2, 10, 15?
Be less than 10.
How
You
many
get
hours?
a jailhouse attorney once in a while, and that's what happened here. We got an inmate that felt he was an attorney, and he asked for such large volumes of information. We normally would do it ourselves. If we can't, we were going to the county court. The county court did one section that he asked for, they said, we're not doing this. It's too much. And we got jammed up with Commissioner of Corrections concerning that, because we couldn't get the stuff to with time. So we need to find another route to do this now. And that's what we found in the past. What we found that people are doing, they use the electronic law libraries and they use their public defenders accounts.
I agree with what the sheriff is saying. That policy would tend to make sense. This was, I looked at the requests and so forth, and it was extreme in that particular instance. I've never seen another situation like that, and I don't think that this sheriff has in the time that he's been there either. And it's the luck of the draw. But it would be good to have a fallback, definitely.
Present a resolution for next month's public safety.
Okay.
Chair?
All I want to know, was he arrested by the city or by the county?
Where is it at, really? We might as well go move behind bars and let them out. See if they do a better job. They got more rights than we have.
All right, anything else on that issue? If not, we'll move on to the resolutions. Our first resolution is a resolution amending 2013 operating budget to utilize the 2012 New York State Homeland Security SHSP State Homeland Security Program grant funds. I sponsor, need a second. Heard? Discussion? Wish of the committee?
Positive.
So moved. Next resolution is a resolution opposing the New York State Secure Ammunition and Firearms Act of 2013. Sheriff, I sponsor, need a second. Barb Wheeler. Discussion?
Move it.
Move it. So moved. Anything under other?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn.
Yep.
Barb? Jeff?
Oh, see, you weren't getting part-time pay, Tom. I just saw that, so it's small print.
I want to be here for that fight for BBW short of the vote.
Oh, I'm not on that committee. Wait a minute.
Yes, sacrifices in the town.
What's that? Where's your face?
We have a resolution.
Wait.
That's what I said. I want to be here.
You're not on that either.
Call the Health and Human Services Committee to order, please. Supervisor Quackenbush is out of town, so he asked that I fill in for him this evening. Does anybody have anything they would like to bring up under discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to the amendments. Or, I'm sorry, the resolutions. First up, the resolution amending 2013 operating budget to contract for non-essential domestic violence services, Department of Social Services, sponsored by Quackenbush. Do you have a second? Supervisor Wheeler. Discussion?
Move it.
Move it. Opposed? Next up, resolution amending 2013 operating budget to replace copier, Department of Social Services, sponsored by Quackenbush. Do we have a second? Supervisor Stutter. Oh, man.
Did you read that one?
He got his hand up before you did, believe it or not. He wants to spend the money.
Some money like everyone else.
Discussion?
That copy or through Dane through that program or not?
Move it.
Discussion? Hearing none, wishes of the committee?
Move it.
Opposed? It is moved. Next up, resolution amending 2013 operating budget, Department of Social Services, sponsored by Quackenbush. We need a second. Supervisor Strebe. Discussion?
Move it.
Opposed? It is moved. Motion to adjourn. Supervisor Wheeler, Supervisor Stutter.
Yeah. Everybody wants to go. Had enough.
Is that squeaking noise?
Okay, I'd like to call the General Services Committee to order, please. The first item is discussion items. Do we have any from the supervisors? Yes, John?
The appraisal report for MOSA and their assets has been done. It's been presented to the MOSA board. Each of you got I don't know if it was a CD or a DVD. But anyway, you got a copy of that appraisal report. Otsego County is moving forward to have discussion. They have some argument that they have with the appraisal report. That meeting is going to be on the 28th of February at 9 a.m. at MOSA. We've got the chairman of Otsego County coming up with some of her people from Otsego County. I'm going to be there. I've asked Supervisor Barone to come with me. I was going to ask Supervisor Sullivan if he wanted to come along. I think that we need to be engaged in this whole process, because obviously in this whole process we are going to be distributing the assets of MOSA. And the more that Otsego County takes away from the authority, it's less that it's going to be left for Montgomery and Harry County. So I think that we need to be engaged and speak up and make sure that our interests are also spoke for. So just to give you a heads up where that's at. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Did you have a time for that, a meeting date?
Yep.
We do. It's not going to be a public meeting. There are some questions that Otsego County wants to ask of the appraisers, and that's really all that meeting is going to amount to. There's not going to be any business conducted. They just have some questions about the appraisal report.
But you have a date already, though, right? And what is that date again?
That would be February the 28th at 9 a.m.
Thank you, Chair. Anything else?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other discussion items from the supervisors? Hearing none, we'll go to the resolutions. First resolution approving the 2003 capital projects bill for bridge replacement. I sponsored that. Do we have a second? Ron, discussion?
Move it.
I think you didn't want to discuss that a little bit.
You have a discussion?
Since I'm not on your committee, but borrowing requires 2/3 vote, right? All right, so the thing is, you can pass it tonight in simple majority. Requires 2/3 vote to pass it for bonding. But we also have a resolution on the books that we're not borrowing. When does that expire?
2014.
Huh? Was there an expiration date on it?
I think it's
I believe it was
2014.
2012, but don't quote me. I believe it was a two or 3 year moratorium on borrowing.
I think it's
3-year moratorium, I thought, that expired,
Okay.
or is expired.
You know, the major, if you're gonna, you need a 2/3 vote in order to get the borrowing resolution through. So it's just, it's not a simple majority, so.
We want to still move to the full vote.
Okay,
Just send it. We'll let the board make it.
All in favor of that? Anyone opposed? All right, we'll move it. Next resolution is authorizing extension bridge repair and maintenance. I'll sponsor that. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Herb, discussion?
Move it.
No discussion? All in favor to move it?
Move it.
Move it. We move it. Anyone opposed? Last resolution is authorizing extension of pneumatically projected concrete and application of silane penetrating sealer for bridge decks. I'll sponsor that. Do we have a second? Ryan?
Move it.
Move it. Any other discussion?
Yeah, motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn. Okay.
Second.
Ron, all right.